Today's video, I'm going to be talking about the law of assumption. And in the law of assumption, we always hear a lot, and this is straight from Neville Goddard. If you have not heard about this guy, you absolutely need to go ahead and just do some research on him. But I wanted to keep this video very short and to the point because I know people is busy. Their attention span is very, very short. We hear a lot about the law of attraction, but if you looked up the law of assumption, and if you're like me and you watch a lot of videos or consume a lot of content with Joe Dispenza, and then all these other, like, I think gurus, I don't even know what to call them, they talk about assume you already have it, like act as if you already have it, before you even have $1 million, talk like you got $1 million, walk like you have, because like you're actually manifesting it, right? 100%. Not going to go ahead and deny it. But a huge part of you is still not going to believe. Like a huge part of you, as much as you don't even want to, like you could be kind of pissed off at yourself for even feeling that way. No matter how clear you are after the fact, like you close your eyes or like you listen to yourself even say it, or you write it down and you have a very vivid image of it and it's very crystal clear, you can almost taste it, there's still going to be a part of you that feels that it's not real and it's not going to go ahead and happen. The most evidence-based approach that I've used to go ahead and manifest what I want in a situation has been doing this. If you take a look back, and the easiest way that I can go ahead and explain it to you is, if you want to assume that it's already happened because what's going to happen has already happened, the best way to take a look at it is think about all the times in your past life where you have come up against a challenge that you could not solve and you figured out how to solve it. And looking back at that situation right now, what did you do? You took massive action. You really buckled down, you zeroed in, you were laser focused, and you eventually found a way to go ahead and push through. And it's always after the fact that when you go through that period, when you look back at it and you say, if I can go back in time, this is actually how I would do it all over again. If you take a look at everything in life, hindsight's always 20/20. The answers were always so obvious when you're looking back at the situation, right? So there's always something more that you can do. And I don't know what kind of challenge that you are coming up against. I don't know what kind of challenge that you're up against or what kind of goals you're trying to chase after right now. But whatever, it's going to require you to solve problems. I remembered when I was in school, one of my biggest problems was actually figuring out how to pay for tuition. And when I figured out that, hey, I always knew there were scholarships, but it was not very clear how to go after it. When I buckled down, I told myself, okay, there's a list of scholarships out there. I'm going to go ahead and apply to it. And I started getting one after another. And I started kind of figuring out the game about where to source out, creating a list of resources on the internet where I would source out these different scholarships. I put them on a spreadsheet. They were largely all looking for the same thing: write a little essay, make a little video, basically tell us why you deserve this money more than anybody else. When I take a look back at that, I'm like, oh shit, I could have totally applied to more scholarships if I was to go back at it again. There's so many things I could have done. I also struggled to pay for school when I was in school, right? I had tutoring jobs, I had a few other side gigs, I juggled multiple internships. Looking back at it, knowing everything that I know now, there were so many other ways for me to go ahead and make money. In addition to how it was that I was just like trying to get by through the week or through the month at that time. There's always something that I could do, because chances are everything that you know right now, if I gave you a time machine and you were able to go back into your high school years, even without the access to the type of technology that we have right now, I'm pretty damn sure you'd crush it effortlessly, right? Like, I wasn't really good in math. I wasn't really good in English. I had okay grades. I didn't have bad grades. I had okay grades. But there would be no doubt in my mind if I went back to high school right now to get a 4.0 effortlessly, right? Obviously, I'm a lot smarter right now. If I went back to college, I would have absolutely crushed that. If I could have if I would have went back to certain careers that I started off as right after school, I would completely massacre it, right? So knowing everything that you know right now, if you go back, there's always these things that you could have done. So so that kind of tells you that, honestly speaking, you already won. There's always something that you can do with the current resources that's available to you right now, but you're not doing you're not seeing it. So how are you able to go ahead and see it? Well, now we're moving away from the law of assumption to actually now the execution part. And there's a book out there that I think it's referenced a lot on YouTube as like one of the best, or the even some people would go as far to say the only self improvement book that you need, which is actually called gosh, I'm making this video right now, but I'm completely blanking out on it. It's called the Cyberkinetics. It was written by the plastic surgeon that said like a lot of the people that he did plastic surgery for, they really didn't feel any better, even though he changed their outer appearance. Inside, they still felt very inadequate. And he talked about how to activate. There's more than a few chapters in there where he really focused on the subject of activating your creative subconscious. When you're running against problems, what I've noticed has really worked out well for me in being able to break through problems that I just can't solve is I focus on one thing, and something about the water just helps me figure out like an idea. Like, but I got to be very clear, like, okay, I'm going to be reasonable. I need to get from here to here to here. Steam room helps, swimming helps, running helps, working out helps, showering helps. I don't know, something for me. It worked out for me. It might not work out for you. But sleeping also helps. So if I'm always thinking about a problem that I can't solve, the more relaxed that I am, and I'm doing exactly what the book has told me to do. I've never read it, but I should. But I've never read it, but I've watched a lot of YouTube content on it from people explaining it to me. Because if I'm going to be so honest, it's not easy material to get through. But I've read I've watched a lot of people explain how it works in depth on YouTube videos. In order for you to go ahead and activate your creative subconscious, and you need the creative subconscious to be able to figure out like ideas. In a spiritual sense, it's like the more pissed off you are, you're actually pushing those ideas and you're actually pushing that out away. But I think also from just a mental health standpoint, like how are you going to be very effective creatively if you're extremely angry or extremely stressed out? You gotta, like, if you think about a lot of the times that you were able to just figure something out, it just kind of came to you like out of nowhere when you didn't even expect it. And it was just like, you're kind of thinking about it, kind of going by, okay, I can't figure it out. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to go for a drive. And then out of nowhere, it's like, oh shit. Oh, we could do this, right? Because your creative subconscious, that thing is just running like a Ferrari engine. So hopefully, I know a lot of people right now in this type of market, you guys are nothing for me to sell in this video, honestly, but a lot of people have been asking me. I represent like multiple offers and helping people make a career transition, helping people start freelancing and all that other good stuff. But a lot of people come to me for solutions to problems, and they ask me like, how do you think about all these different problems? And I said, well, I just don't know how it is that I'm going to solve it, but I just tell myself, number one, if there's a problem that I really want to solve, like within reason, and a lot of our problems are very reasonable actually if we think about it, like the problem that we're trying to solve right now, a lot of those problems aren't extraordinary. Like I'm not Elon Musk. I'm not trying to freaking start a colony on Mars. I'm not trying to like send a spaceship up to the moon, or, I'm not trying to solve the problem of EVs, right? These are problems that other people have solved already. It's being solved. It's already been solved. That means whatever they can do, I can do. And that means the answer's out there. I just have to go out there and figure it out. The easiest way is to figure out who's already solved those problems and just do what they did, or gather up data from various people that solved this problem and just, kind of create a game plan off of that and execute it. But I just don't stress out about it. So just assume you've already won. And the best way to be able to assume that you have already won based upon what I've done is, it's very hard, and it hasn't worked out for me, of like no matter how hard I try to assume that I've already won, I still have this imposter syndrome about whether or not I really did, or whether or not I can achieve this. But then I take a look back at, okay, all the times that I thought I had a problem that was going to kill me and I'm still alive, 85% of the problems that we worry about don't come true. And even 15% of the ones that do, it's never as bad as we think it is. And we actually end up becoming better people or smarter as a result of it. That's a fact. It's worked out for me. And when I think about all the problems that I solved, I naturally already feel better, because it's like, oh yeah, I crushed that problem. I crushed that problem. I crushed that problem. I crushed that problem. And then I think about, like, okay, how did I come to figure out the solution for those problems? Okay, like I figured that out. If I really remember, try to go down memory lane, it's like, I figured that out when I went for a run. I figured that out when I went for a swim. I figured that out when I figured that out when okay, so once I have that, I know I'm going to go out there and figure it out. It's only a matter of time. It's just how much of a priority I want to go ahead and make it. And instead of me manifesting, like I never thought I was going to be able to get to where it is that I am right now. I mean, obviously visualize a little bit, but yeah, there's always going to be a part of you that's like, maybe it doesn't come true. Maybe this is as far as I go. But you just make these little improvements on it and you come through. So if you're somebody that's working in tech and you're trying to go out there and escape the 9 to 5, I highly recommend you join my school community, because I'm going to go show you how it's done. But also, the other way for you to assume that you've already won is by hanging out with winners. If you're with people that look down on your goals, and you're with people that don't believe in what it is that you're trying to accomplish, it's really hard for you to rub that off. It's going to hurt you a little bit emotionally. And on top of that, it doesn't leave you in a good place, it doesn't. So be with a better group of people is also going to help you out.